Alright, well, I had this video from a couple days ago, and in the comments down here, um, I don't even know, something got me onto looking up all the 89s, like 1789, 1889, 1989, but I pretty much stopped when I got to 1889, um, because Grover Cleveland was the president, and he turned 52 that year, and the reason he stuck out to me was because he's the only president who served two non-consecutive terms. And his full name even adds to 106, which significant number of this year. Um, yeah, and I'll show you here in a second. Today's a perfect day to even talk about it. Didn't even realize. So interesting that I would research it on today. But anyway, the guy who replaced him in 1889 was Benjamin Harrison, who died exactly 112 years before Pope Francis became the Pope. That's what I wrote on here. So then I just researched a little more here. So I guess I just want to show here, Grover Cleveland was the 22nd president, then Benjamin Harrison, then Grover Cleveland again. And let's see here. Let's click on Benjamin Harrison really quick. March 13th, 1901 was when he died. He's the 23rd president. Now check this out. The 23rd president, his last name was Harrison. There was another president whose name was Harrison as well. It was the 9th president, William Henry Harrison. He's the first president to die in office on 4/4. But interesting, it's the 9th president and the 23rd president are both Harrison. So the 923. It also, this guy is the other guy's grandson, I believe. Yeah, he was the grandson of the 9th president. So interesting. 923. So what does Harrison have to do with the 923? And I mean, I honestly have no idea. I'm just thinking of some stuff. The weird thing to me is that the county that I live in is actually Harrison County, Iowa. So thought that was just strange, I guess. Harrison County, Iowa. Actually, the town I live in is like right on the corner here, so it's like all four of these counties. But just found that pretty weird. And it's even named for William Henry Harrison, so kind of weird. Another weird thing is it just made me look up my town again here. I looked it up. I know I've talked about it before in videos, but basically the only thing about the history is the Independent Order of Oddfellows Hall, which doesn't even exist anymore, but I made the video about how the Freemasons, they murdered the last chief of the Omaha Indians in this town, and they were going to come and kill everybody, and they got in their Freemason garb, and they went out and flashed Masonic signs, and the Indians somehow knew them, and then they believed them that they didn't really kill him, and then they left or whatever. It's a pretty strange incident. But says notable people, Charles Henney, been talking about 58 and 40, or 58 and 85 a whole bunch in the last couple weeks. Weird that he's 85 years old. Even died in 1969. I talked about 69 and how it connects to the 139 even. And Henney, I'm telling you, I made a video about this. Like, the only two sports jerseys that I own, or football jerseys, are Chad Henne and Jake Long. So Henne's number 7 and Jake Long is number 77. I mean, they both played at Michigan. I was a Michigan fan, and then they both played at the Miami Dolphins, and I was a Miami Dolphin fan. So just found that interesting. It doesn't even have to mean anything. Just kind of strange. But I mean, look at it. Chad Henne was even born in 1985. I mean, strange. He's even from Pennsylvania. And Jake Long was also born in 1985 on 5/9. So then I thought, what's some other famous Harrisons that I can think of? Thought of the Beatle, George Harrison. Interesting. He died at the age of 58 on the 333rd day of the year. Now we talked about Philadelphia will be 333 years old this year on October 27th. It's the same day that Back to the Future ends in 1985 even. when the time machine is destroyed by the train wreck. A few other interesting things is he was born in 43, and like I talked about the last time that there was a Philadelphia train wreck on the same part of the track that the one was this year or whatever, was in 1943. It also says that he was active since 1958. Also, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more about him. I don't know that much about the Beatles. It was definitely not in my era. You know, I'm way younger than that, but I'm sure lots of people know a lot more. But he has an album called 33 and a Third. Interesting because he died on the 333rd day of the year. 33 and 1/3. 1/3 is literally .33, so it's like 33.33 with a line over it. So weird. It also talks about how he developed an interest in the Hare Krishna movement, and even when he was buried, they did a private ceremony according to Hindu tradition. So kind of interesting. Not sure how it all ties into the 923, but let's see here. Let's move on to some more Harrison stuff. There's even a Harrison, Roanoke, Virginia. Weird. I mean, it doesn't have to mean much. There is a ton other ones here. I mean, there's not even a ton, really. It's just, I mean, more than 10, probably 15 here or so. Another thing I found interesting, this guy right here, I know I talked about him before, I think, with Slaughterhouse. I've never read any of his books. Kind of want to read this one now, though, because this one, the main character, Harrison Bergeron, it's basically about how the government dumbs people down, and he has to wear this handicap bag on him to, like, dumb down his intelligence. And basically they take some of the weights out, and then he ends up getting killed by the handicap general and forces everyone to put their handicaps back on or whatever. You can come read this. It's pretty interesting. I just wanted to take a look at this guy again then. I can't remember. I thought there was something to do with 55 around him. Looks like he even died at the age of 84. November 11th, 1922, 11/22 kind of thing, like the day JFK died. Who knows? Published his first novel, Piano Player, in 1952. I mean, been talking about 52 like crazy. Piano Player, the 88 Keys. Who knows? There was one of the books I wanted to talk about was way down here. Let me pull it up. It's a newer one called Timequake. We've been talking about earthquakes and whatnot, and then time travel and all these things that seem to be foreshadowed. So I was like, Timequake. Let's click on this. And basically the whole point of the movie is that the premise of a timequake or repetition of actions in which there is no free will. The idea of determinism is explored, blah, 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 blah. But the whole point of this movie is that the citizens of the year 2001 travel back in time to the year 1991 to repeat every action they undertook that time. So, interesting, the book came out in 97, and it's about the year 2001, a very big year in the United States, with the World Trade Center and all of that. So it's almost like making fun of us, like to go back and change things so that doesn't happen or something, Who knows? Just the thought on it. Also, it came out on September 22nd, 1997. That is the day this year that Pope Francis will be in the United States, 9/22. So I guess who knows? This guy has just a lot of interesting books. I can't believe I've never read any of them. So I guess now I know what to listen to at work. So the name Harrison also reminds me of Harry's son, and I looked it up, and that's even what it's named for. Harry's son, Harrison, son of Harry even. And we have Prince Harry, who is fifth in line for the British throne. So interesting. He doesn't have any kids as of right now, but I just find that interesting that Harrison and then Harry's son. So just something to think about. I mean, he even his first day even let's see here. He entered the military on 5/8 of '05 even, so 5/8/5, the mirrors. I found this article where he's still in love with Chelsea Davy. It's from 22 hours ago, so it's even a recent article. If you look up Chelsea Davy, she was born in 1985, so interesting. Also, the gematria, if he becomes the king, he'll be King Henry IX, which adds up to 144, also 72, just like Prince Harry and Prince Henry. While I'm sitting here, I was just thinking about a thought about gematria and whatnot, and people think that it doesn't exist or something. But I mean, think about like these alphabets. The Greek alphabet, their letters were assigned a number as well. In the Hebrew alphabet, their letters were also assigned to a number. So why couldn't that be the case with the English language? You know what I mean? I understand to a point what some people are talking about, but I mean, some of them are just, there's no way it's a coincidence, you know? Just a thought, I guess. So the reason that it all ties into today as a day is because it's Labor Day. And this right here, the Haymarket affair, it even says no single event has influenced the history of labor in Illinois, the United States, and even the world more than the Chicago Haymarket affair. And that happened on May 4th, 1886. And interesting, it was 8 anarchists who set off a bomb in Chicago because they wanted an 8-hour workday, the 88. And it happened in 1886. Well, let's look back at Grover Cleveland. He was the president in 1886. Also started in 1885, a number that I've been talking about a lot lately, so 85, 58. So, I mean, I still got some research to do into this. Just kind of a curious thing. Let's go back to this, though. There's another Harrison that was involved in this. So this was in Chicago, and the mayor of Chicago was Carter Harrison Sr. at the time. And he was actually the first cousin twice removed of William Henry Harrison. So he even ran for the 43rd Congress. Let's see here. He was elected to the 44th and 45th. But he was actually assassinated when he was the 33rd mayor of Chicago. Interesting. And also it says that Harrison was Chicago's first 5-time elected mayor. Eventually his son, Carter Harrison Jr., was also elected mayor 5 times. I've been seeing the 55 a lot. I haven't really mentioned a whole lot of it, but it's starting to make a comeback with all these 34s I've been seeing, so who knows? I haven't really talked about them too much. I'm waiting to keep seeing them, but just wanted to point that out. It was even in the Nebraska football game. But he died in the year 1893 then. And his son, who also was elected 5 times, he died at the age of 93 in 1953. That goes along with Herbie and Nebraska, and crazy. His wife even died in 1955. So, who knows? So then they put a statue up commemorating this or whatever, and it was put up on May 30th, 1889, and then it was vandalized on May 4th, 1968. And that is a span of 28,828 days. Look at that. 28828, like the mirrors of 82, 28. And that's also, let's see here, it says something about 82. Yeah, it was the 82nd anniversary of the Haymarket affair, and then it was vandalized. All these 8s afterward, come on, that is planned. Then on 10/6, the 106, 1969, they put a bomb in and exploded it. 520 days later, kind of like 52, they rebuilt it, and then a year later they destroyed it again, or they vandalized it again. 885 days, but also 2 years, 5 months, 2 days, like the mirrors of 52. I'm just going to end it on the gematria here. The Haymarket affair, 86, 176. It literally was in 1886, and 176 is 176 years after 1776 is 1952. Anyway, have a good day.